I never usually speak on this channel because of so many reasons. No time, my accent gets thicker when I speak a lot. And also when I want to speak of something, most of the time it's like what grinds my gears from Family Guy.
You know what really grinds my gears? Nobody's come up with a new priest and a rabbi joke in like 30 years, you know?
But screw that. I'm between jobs right now, so I have a lot of time. My accent is something I have to live with, I guess. And the choice of subjects is something I have no control over. It's just something that pops up in my head and I'm like, man, I have to discuss it with someone. And usually it's music and movies related stuff because I'm a sucker for both. So when I really like something or really hate something and something just causes strong emotions in me, usually I like to discuss it. And today I'd like to make an assumption of why today's music business sucks so much. I mean, there are so many reasons for that, but there's one reason that's especially evident to me, from my perspective, at least. You see, at some point I worked as a music photographer and music journalist. There were a couple of offline and online media that needed concert reviews and photos and also sometimes album reviews. And I was the guy who was making those photos from the photo pit and also writing those concert reviews and album reviews. What did I know about this business? Pretty much everything that I saw in those 80th metal and rock magazines. All those magazines used to have these special people who listened to all the new albums and visited all the concerts, all the tours, and wrote honest reviews. And that is exactly what made it interesting for me, the honesty. No fucking matter how big of a star you are. If Metallica or Slayer had a sucky concert, the review would state exactly so. The concert sucked. And in theory, it was exactly how it should have been. The truth makes the bands improve, you know? Bands don't evolve from success, they evolve from mistakes. It's always a trial and error scenario. Also, who likes to read exclusively positive reviews? It's not fun. Or so I thought.
Boring!
I remember I got an album for a review. It was a new album of a quite well-known band, at least in Germany. I won't tell you any names, I don't need any more problems in my life. But it was well known, really. So I started listening to the album and it was quite bad. I mean, not terrible, but plain bad. Nothing new, nothing catchy. It was like leftovers from the previous several albums. Something like that. The album was boring and listening to it was like listening to one song over and over and over and over again. Of course I didn't use any strong words in my review, but it wasn't really favorable, to say at least. In short, it was like nothing really new here, but the fans will probably like it. And then I sent my review to the label. And then I was blacklisted from the label in seconds. Just like 3, 2, 1, blocked. And later, when I went on with my album and concert reviews, I found out that it was not only a typical scenario, it was the only possible case scenario. I mean, no club, no promoter, no band will tolerate even an okayish review. It has to be very positive every single time. Even if you just saw a truly awful concert, you cannot write so. You have to write it was a sensational event, you know? It just blew your fucking mind. All those bands you just saw must be there on the top with Beatles and Stones. It was a musical revolution, not less.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And if you want to tell people your real opinion, there's no place for you. Just leave it to the professionals of the worldwide ass-kissing. And then I noticed that more or less all people in the industry do it. They do this exactly. I mean, they just lie and write only favorable reviews for everything. Just open any rock or metal magazine and you will see hundreds and hundreds of articles and reviews about pure geniuses, you know? All those bands are amazing. They can do no wrong. And some of these articles are paid, of course. and some of them are there to please the labels and the bands. Anyway, they are not articles anymore. They are advertisement disguised as articles. And you know what? It was always the case in the pop music. But now the rock music works exactly the same. And the result of it is that we're practically surrounded by lies. You read an article about the band and it says it's so great, and you buy your ticket and come to the concert of this band, and usually it's not awful, but nothing special, just plain average. And it's all just because the music industry doesn't want to lose any money.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right.
This industry is so fragile right now that even a so-so review can make them lose all their shit. They call you a hater and blacklist you forever. You can say it's a nonsense and you're not a hater, it's completely beside the point, but the label doesn't care. They are making money and you're hindering them with your honest opinion. Your honest opinion is irrelevant now, deal with it. No reviews and no articles have any sense right now. No media, even the online media, have any sense right now. Because even when the owner of the website or magazine doesn't get paid by the label, he still doesn't want to get blacklisted. Yeah, no one wants to bite the feed in hand, so to speak, so they will continue releasing all those rave reviews. Because apparently we don't need any negativity in our lives, and all we need is to sell, and sell. Even if it means to sell a huge pile of shit, you know? So be it. You want to be in this business? Okay, but don't write, don't review, just don't. All you need to do is sell. And the longer it goes, the harder it gets for me to find any new interesting music. You know, just because if you look into the music press, there will be no even one average band there. It's such a stupid ass circus. And at some point I just realized I didn't want to be a part of it. If it has no sense, why should I participate, right? I just don't want to play alone and painfully search for words to help someone to sell another copy of the copy of the copy of fucking Slipknot or Five Finger Death Punch. And as soon as you realize all this, you will understand that the industry is long dead. It keeps moving for some reason, but it's long dead inside. Labels don't want to discover any new larger-than-life band. They just want money and fuck the future. I guess you read about all these situations with a band called Dogma already, a lot, and you know what I mean. It's just one drop in the ocean of lies. There are so many bands like this in the industry. There are so many of them. Money grab all the way, no matter how and by what means, and the rest is lies. That's why when I really need some new music in my life, I just visit a small local festival. There is still a chance to find an original and honest band there once in a while. But it's only possible if you ignore the mainstream press whatsoever, because it's exactly where the truth comes to die. So what do you think? As I said, if I talk about something, it means that I really want to discuss it with you guys, so feel free to like, comment, and share, and we'll see where it goes from here. I'm quite bad at saying goodbyes, so